Hello, this is a video about the 5-note melodic figures as taken from the Melody from Harmony textbook by Charles Horton and Lawrence Ritchey. This is from chapter 18, but it's used in chapters 20 as well as 21 and 22, which brings us into minuets. So again, I'm working from a handout that I prepared in your handouts section of your, you can find it on Learn, but you can also find it in this package. So this is now the second page, 5-note melodic figures. This is going to spread over 2 pages, and I'm hoping to keep this video short, but these videos continuously are 10 minutes. I may start splitting them up a little bit more so you have a part 1 and a part 2, so these aren't too long. So we've now learned about all the 4-note melodic figures, which are within the measure if we're dealing with a regular rhythm in quarter notes, or within the beat if we're dealing with 8th notes or 16th notes, right? So they can be, they can stay within a beat depending on the time signature that you're looking at, and you're going to be doing some analysis of pieces where you have to look at 16th notes or 8th notes, as well as analysis with quarter notes. So the difference between the 4-note instrumental melodic figures and the 5-note is that in the 4-note, they stay within the beat. In the 5-note, we now return to our downbeat to downbeat. So you're going to have to be good at recognizing the difference between a 5-note melodic figure and a 4-note because they end in different places. When you're composing, and when you're going to be composing in the following chapters in a diatonic sequence and in a little bit in the minuets, you have to be able to write these melodic figures and know when you go from downbeat to downbeat and when you stay within the beat. So let's start with the 5-note prime embellishment. You have to find a place where you have a downbeat to downbeat unison. That's the only time when you can use this. You need a downbeat to downbeat unison in order for this to work. So again, what we do is we start with that note. So I've been doing a lot with the A here. Hopefully you can hear that. This seems a little bit quieter this time. But this, then we do a leap of a 4th. Our prime embellishments up until now have always been leaps of 3rds. This is now a leap of a 4th. And then we do passing. That gets us back to the downbeat. Okay? Now, of course, we can go in any direction, and we don't have to do the leap first. We can do the leap second. So this time we're going to go down. I'm going to just do another prime embellishment right in a row. Oops, that should be quarter notes. Okay, so I'll get rid of that box. Now you can see we have a prime embellishment here, but it's from downbeat to downbeat, and now I'm an overlapping prime embellishment again from downbeat to downbeat, and of course these are our 5-note prime embellishments. When we name them, this is how we would name them above these. I won't always do this in all of these, but I want you to see how you create the brackets from downbeat to downbeat, and then where you put the naming of the melodic figure. Of course, these prime embellishments can be used in 16th notes and 8th notes as well. Again, they have to go from beat to beat. So if I was to do one here, let me do one going up in 16th notes. Okay, and now I'll do a leap first going down. So there we have a beat to beat. Now I have to leap a 4th. Okay, so there's 2 prime embellishments. One, again from a beat to beat. So I have beat 1 to beat 2, and the beginning of beat 2 to beat 3. Oops, that's not. Okay, there again, I have 2 prime embellishments. Again, these are overlapping. So our 5 notes, we again overlap our melodic figures. Okay, so there's in 16th notes and in quarter notes. Okay, the 5-note double neighbor. So if you remember our 4-note double neighbor, it meant that we went up, then we had a leap down, and then we went up again. That was our double neighbor. So we had a neighbor up and a neighbor down, or we could do it opposite, a neighbor down and a neighbor up. For a 5-note double neighbor, we have to have a second from downbeat to downbeat. So here, this is what we're given, downbeat to downbeat second. In this case, the best way to remember this is when you're doing the 5-note double neighbor, you start in the same direction that the interval is. So we have an A that's going to a B. You go to that B and right away to create the first upper neighbor. Then let's go and create the lower neighbor. So there's our double neighbor as it was with 4 notes, but we continue the motion on. And so we have this figure that goes okay, so that creates our double neighbor figure. This of course can also be done with 16th notes, but in this case we can only do it in this direction. So I can't go down first and go up. It doesn't work. That's no longer our 5-note double neighbor. Once we change directions here, it's all the same direction up. So if I was to show you this in 16th notes, it would be exactly the same. Okay, there's no other way to do this one. We can't do it in any other direction. Okay, of course, if the second was going down first, so if we were going from this note down, and maybe I'll do this one now again in 8th note, so you can see if I was going from a B down to an A here, I could create this going down, but my outside interval is going down, so then this would end up being okay, so there's my double neighbor that's now going down. Okay, even though in the middle it goes up, but it goes down. So basically you have both rows going down when your interval is going up, both rows going up. 5-note skip step. This is a really fun one. So if we think about a skip step, again, for the 5-note skip step, you have to have a third from downbeat to downbeat in order for it to work. What you want to think first is to create, and I'll do this, and maybe I'll do this in quarter notes first so you can, well, it will end up being in quarter notes. But basically you're getting a skip step. We would be skipping one past and then stepping back. We are now going to fill in that with passing. So this is going to be a big long passing figure. Okay, starting on the A. And then into the next measure. Okay, so that full figure is all right. That's your 5-note skip step. Again, you could do that with 16th notes, again, only in one direction. It doesn't work. We can't do a skip step in the other direction. So it doesn't work any other way, but let me just show this to you in 16th notes. Okay, same thing. So our skip step is really in the background of this. There's your skip filled in with passing, and then your step back. So it's passing all in one direction and then a step back. However, when again, the 5-note skip step, if the third was going the other way, then of course you would go the other way.